Innovative.
What's good, everybody? Now tuned into the ProHustle Zone with Moan, where we talk about all things pro hustle, and it's all about mastering your craft and monetizing the skills. You feel what I'm saying? Tap in with Innovative Culture, Instagram, YouTube. The website is www.theinnovativeculture.com, ProHustleZone.com. You know, you get all the content, clothes, videos, gaming, podcasts, all of that. Got a guest. I'm gonna let her introduce herself. Second female up on the show. You feel what I'm saying? They popping my cherry paws. I let her introduce herself, though.
Hey, everybody. What's up? Is that my cue?
Yes. Most def.
What's good? My name is Taylor Lindsey. I also go by The Plug. Actually, somebody stopped me at the parking lot in Vaughn's, which is usually not a good thing. But they're like, you The Plug? I'm like, I sure am. My name is Taylor, again, and I own The Plant Plug, and I operate here in Los Angeles. So you might see The Plant Plug, which I have the trademark for, but I'm mainly The Plant Plug Los Angeles. And I am a botanist, horticulturist, power lifter, not a wife and mother, don't ask me. And also, I'm an entrepreneur, and I dabble in a little bit of anything and everything. It used to be a survival skill, but now it's just life. So.
Oh, okay. So we're going to have I didn't know all of that stuff on the background, so we're going to definitely have an interesting conversation. I've definitely been into the plants lately, been wanting to pick up some plants for myself, for my family. You feel what I'm saying? So, first question, or first part of the sit-down is, when, where, how, who, what, when, you know what I mean? All 7 of the methodologies. How did you first get started and fall in love with doing plants and growing ABCD?
Right. You have to remind me what those 7 methods are. I forgot. I only know like
who,
3
what,
by heart.
When, where, why, and how.
Thank you. So I started at my parents' house in the front yard back in 2009.
Okay.
I wasn't quite in love with it, and I do want to talk about that a little bit later about like falling in love with the process. I did not understand the process. I did not know anything about the process, just period, from beginning, middle, to end. I always wanted to go from A to Z instantly. So I started in the front yard of my parents' house in South Central. Shout out Normandy and Florence, 1993, the most dangerous block on the corner according to the American media. You know what I'm talking about. Now we got farms and chickens, you know. So at the time, I was just super excited just to start growing stuff. And I literally thought you put the seed down, you get the food, you fill your plate, the end.
Go from there.
Wrong. So it used to be illegal.
Work.
It used to be illegal to plant food in the front yard, as well as, you know, that patch on the other side of the sidewalk also used to be illegal.
Isn't that like considered to be like the city's property, and then your yard is your yard?
No, technically the sidewalk is city property, but the other patch outside is still yours. But you were not allowed to grow food as well as collect rainwater.
I just talked about that with someone, how they should grow fruit trees more often around LA, especially with like homeless people, and just eating. I said it will cause a lot of trash, you could say, because, you know, fruit that's not getting eaten turns into, you know, the value of it go down. So, you know what I mean?
Wait a minute. I got a solution for you.
Okay.
Are we talking about monetization or are we talking about monetization? So also another thing is a lot of people are familiar, with Ron Finley, the gangster in the garden. It's funny because I used to call myself that too back in 2009, and I didn't find out about him until like last year. But I saw his articles once he came out after he got out of prison, right? So he's one of the reformed ones, and they still gave him a hard time because they actually were going to put him back in jail for violating his probation for trying to grow food in the front yard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when it comes to trees, it turns out most of the trees in all city planning are actually male. So there's species, there's gender, and there's species within the plant world. So most of them are male because males don't produce fruit. They just produce pollen.
Right. Like
that's
the seed and the birth.
That's the problem. No, it's just a boof. They only produce the boof. They don't produce the seed as much as, well, they do produce, they produce the boof, which therefore will pollinate the fruit, turn into the flower, then the seed. Yes, okay. So there's a problem with that. Now, for fallen fruit, there's two things that we can do with it. Once it hits the ground, actually, we can turn it into compost and create our own soils. I like to call that black gold.
Okay. I can see you talking about putting the earth back to the earth and where it belongs. Okay.
Yes. And organic compost starts around $20, $30 a bag. So imagine you have an abundance of that because your fruit trees are coughing out fruit nonstop year round or what have you, depending on what you have. And then you can actually repurpose it to create your own soils. And then you create your own soils and then you put it back in the earth. And that's how things are supposed to be.
The recycle, I got you. I definitely see what you're talking about. It's very similar to, it seemed like, I say spirituality when they talk about from the earth you came, so the earth you shall return. I don't know if you know what I mean, get down with those ideologies.
Go for it. Go for it. Just go ahead. I am not. If I am unaware, that's when I'm quiet. I'm quiet because I'm not aware. So then I want to be open to taking something in and learning.
They just say, you know, from the Quran and the Bible and just other, you know what I mean, spiritual books. They just say, you came from the earth, so you shall return. That's it. Put your body back in the ground rather than burning it up because you are an essential part of the earth. Let's say that.
Would you consider yourself a theologian? Or a polytheist?
See, okay. A lot of my research, it's funny that you asked me that question. Normally people don't ask me questions. But I kind of see everything coming from one and then broken down to multiple aspects. You feel me? Because a lot of the research I got into, whether it's the Bible, when I get into like the Kabbalah, there are multiple deities or principles. So I like to look at them as principles, whether you got El Elyon, El Shaddai, you know what I mean? And all of them play significant roles, vital roles and important into everyday life. Let's say that, everything has its purpose.
Right. You
know what I mean? So if you break in, like you get into like saying multiple one, it depends on, let's say both. You feel me? Because it's all, you look at your body, you feel me? You got all these limbs, different limbs, but it's really in all these like 12 systems of the body. But all of those systems, you can't just label which one being more important than the other when they all work together to keep me and everyone else alive. You feel what I'm saying? So, get back. That's funny. You first person that, actually try to flip it up. Because you caught me by surprise when you heard me talking about that. You know what I mean? So you talked about the process and you really didn't enjoy it. Here on ProHustle, we always talk about, the process, because the process is what gets you to the next level. You feel what I'm saying? So what is a typical plant process as far as like growth from seed to maturation?
Right.
I would say an adult.
See, I heard, of all the years that I've been growing, I've only heard the word maturation used 3 times in my whole career. And every time it messes me up. I'm like, what'd you just say?
Well, I said something wrong?
No, you're totally on par. It's just that I haven't heard that used as much as, nor do I know how to enunciate it properly. But it's just maturity. Jeez. Because somebody asked me that the other day at a workshop. And I'm like, excuse me? And just threw off my whole course. I was like, I'm going to skip that question. I had to answer. My brain just wasn't. So the process is mainly sowing the seed. But before sowing the seed, you want to have healthy soils. But the thing about what has happened with the product that is growing now, including the aesthetic and the cost and how it looks, people have told me, especially when I get to like farmers markets, that a lot of people don't want to deal with seed. I actually deal with the hardest part. I didn't know what I did was the hardest part. So I created the soils, and then I teach people how to create the soils, and then you sow the seed. Up. Yeah, and another thing,
that
just
way
like
you're
how
just taking money.
Right, and it's just like so many people will tell me that I'm just giving away too much or I undercharge, but I understand that there's levels to this. There's hierarchies, there's classes, there's social systems, but I'm still gonna be that person that I want to still be that person that got me to where I'm at now, which is if you're just starting now, I'm gonna be the person that gets in that boat with you.
Right.
And if we're going
still a
down,
teacher.
yes, if we're going down, I'll just be like, damn, I knew I shouldn't have done this, but I did it anyways. But creating the soil is where it starts. And I have learned that if your soil can grow weeds, it's healthy enough to actually grow fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
So fortunately enough, we at least have something to start with. Through redlining and other types of horrendous property restructuring, you know, just trying to like paint over outlets and paint over roaches and still sell you the house. It's all types of foundational cracks. It also includes the grounds that we live on. And there's a difference between clay, dust, dirt, and sand. And a lot of us have that gray, brown dust with broken bottles in it and stuff like that. That's how I started. So
especially up in South Central.
Absolutely.
Or
it's
just,
everywhere.
in the hood.
You know who has good soil? Compton, like it just seems so untapped. When I drive through Compton, I'm like, look at all this area and this land and this space. But it took me 5 years to build up the soils, and I did want to mention that 2009, I actually ended up killing a ridiculous amount of plants. So that was my like kind of dislike process, and then I got back into it back in 2016. So soil, sow the seed. They don't have to be super bomb seeds, and also they don't have to be organic seeds. Actually, technically, to get organic certification, you just have to be an organic producer for 4 years straight. So that's another thing about labeling. It's called fine. That's another thing about labeling too. Just how people don't really know how to read food labels. They don't know how to read seed packet labels. And actually, a lot of grocery stores have the little seed kiosk, and nobody touches it. I don't either. I used to steal seeds, but now nobody. No, okay. Look. It's just like I don't know about y'all, but a long time ago, they used to have points on the Kool-Aid packets, right? So I wanted the points because the stuff they used to give out bomb prizes. Remember when cereal prizes and all that were really good? McDonald's toys were worth a damn. So the same thing with Kool-Aid points. My mom wouldn't
buy Happy Meals for us all the time. She said it was a waste of money.
Well, actually, the food would still be good to this day if she saved it. There's so much preservatives in it. But so they're pretty much the same. You just grab that little, when I was a kid, I used to grab that little Kool-Aid packet, slip it in your pocket real quick. I used to do the same thing with seeds back then, though. I'm a changed woman now, but I'm just saying it's so easy just to get started, and also you can grow from a lot of different produce you find in the grocery store. But a lot of produce is treated either to become seedless or the seeds are no good. They're dormant. They're just completely dead. So once you sow the seed.
Do you understand that process? I don't mean to interrupt you. Do you understand that process of how fruit is grown and come out seedless?
Hybrid?
Yes.
See, nobody's ever asked me that. GMOs are a very particular thing. It's very interesting, and it's more than just environment that causes fruits and vegetables to adapt. I'm learning, I'm not 100%...
Man manipulation?
A lot, but I'm not 100% anti-GMO. Let me tell you why. I used to work at Whole Foods, and I'd get this question all the time, and I wasn't allowed to talk like this. I'd actually get in trouble for talking too much. But look at me now. Now I get paid to do it.
Like you bad talking their company.
Right. And I'm like, it's not like I'm talking about their mama. I'm talking about just life and food in general. Food is life. And the thing about it is, if you can take something that normally cannot grow in a certain environment in order to do better, not for profit, but say you have a place that's just riddled with famine, and you're going to take an apple tree that can only grow in Chicago. I'm just saying Chicago. And you could take that Chicagoan apple tree and grow it in the middle of a famine-ridden area, then I'm all for it.
I definitely know what you mean, because it still finds a way to feed the people.
Right. But here, where we're thinking we're getting what we're paying for, that's a manipulation for a profit.
Definitely. So, like farm-raised fish.
Oh, yes. And also, before we get into that, so I'm not 100% sure on how to do it. Otherwise, I'd be doing it myself, making them seeds. I'll be putting the seeds back in it. Where did all this seeded watermelon come from? This is crazy science lady.
You would get a lot of business if you would start producing seeded watermelon.
Well, I already grow it. The thing about it is I'm not a produce producer. I am the plant plug. I literally, here's a plant. I had people hit me up all the time, hey, can I come and get some watermelon and some collards? And I'm like, okay, here's the plant. And they're like, a plant? Yes.
They want the end result.
Right. I'm the teach the man to fish. Right.
Got you.
I'm not the. I know some people you could buy. There's Sam's watermelons on Gage in Western. Have you seen it?
I've been in Long Beach a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
More than the west side. You definitely on the west side for sure.
Is the South Central the west side?
Or on the other side of the 110.
Okay, thank you. Sam's watermelon's been there forever. No, it's Normandy and Gage. Forever. I always know somebody that knows somebody. That's another thing. I have that network. That's what makes me the plug, right? But when it comes to fruits and vegetables and flowers and herbal medicine, I always start with the seed and the education and the plant. That's what I prefer to do. But it's funny because there's not a lot of money to be made, but there will be in that area.
Interesting. I was just about to get to. So what is the most expensive plant that you seen wanted to buy or resell or grow and sell?
So indoor plants completely blew up.
I want some indoor plants. I'll talk to you about that before.
Indoor plants completely blew up. Actually, the markup from plant materials went up by 20 to 30% because of the popularity. That goes beyond inflation. And also there's a thing called the arbitrary markup that already happens within industries just because they can. Mm-hmm. They can just mark it up, because we can always find out the MSRP and we can also find out the production cost, but where's this arbitrary markup coming from? Every industry has one.
Right.
So, pharmaceuticals, especially a nightmare, 5,000 times what it costs to make, and especially in America. But with
trying
plants,
to make it difficult for you to be natural health, I guess.
It's trying to make it difficult to have your blood pressure lowered and your diabetes not, go crazy. Like that, stuff
from
like
the
that.
starch foods and stuff
Oh
like that.
my gosh. So the most expensive plant that I've seen that I wanted to regrow. See, I'm a propagator, and I don't play with my propagation. Like if you ever came to the mini farm, I took.
Hold on, real quick. Propagation? Are you saying like? Correct me if I'm wrong. So you would grab plants and put them together as well? Because I seen that somewhere, and I want to make sure that I'm jogging my memory that I'm correct on what you're saying.
That's a way of propagation.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually like trees.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, you can propagate so many things aside from that just by cutting off like a branch-like part, or what you would call a node.
Mm-hmm.
It's called like a node, NODE. And just soaking it in water, or you could soak it back in a soil medium. Yes.
Shout out to Freak a Leaf. That's who I got that from. I watch him on his page. I don't, per se like just go looking stuff up all the time, but I could be a sponge sometimes when it comes to certain things that I definitely want to learn. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I could definitely be a sponge and like, hold up, let me jog my memory. I seen the video where he was wiping off the plants, dipping them in the water, A, B, C, D. Putting them together, and I'm like, what the heck? I'm seeing the terminology, so I just want to make sure that we was on the same page mentally before you continue on what you were saying.
Thank you for asking me. So that is one way you can actually like fuse plants together as well. Mm-hmm. And then the other form is you can take off a piece of a plant and then soak it in water, and then it starts to produce roots. One way you can there's stimulants that you can buy actually in Home Depot for like $10 to where it's a root stimulator and it triggers that. But when you do that, you can't eat from the plant for a year.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. But
due to the pesticides or the way it's grown? Yeah.
But if you use cinnamon, you can still produce the same result and eat it immediately.
It's crazy. Now she get into herbs and she in there making food. That's crazy. Because that's what it is, for real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was about to ask you, we talked about this earlier, so I want some indoor plants. What indoor plants we're drinking? And I heard you mention aloe vera real quick. Let me tell everybody that's watching this. She doing plants, right? And she mentioned aloe vera. Immediately, in my head, I thought of 1990s, growing up in L.A., on the other side of the 110, on east side, was Firestone on our side, not Manchester. It was Firestone on our side. You feel what I'm saying? Growing up, talking back to my mama, and the first thing she'd say, Banks know what I'm talking about. Y'all keep that shit up. I'm gonna put this aloe vera on your lips. Get to talking back again. Next you know, you sitting there with white, gooey shit, pause, all on your lips. Now, as a child, you thinking you real slick at the mouth. You thinking you just about to think she doing putting this shit on my lips. You lick that shit, you done fucked up. Your mouth is about to have that nasty ass taste for hours, and she in there, you better not wipe it off. I mean, if you put it on your fingers and you go back and touch your mouth again, it's still going to be there. And that was a way that she got us to shut the hell up.
It works. I've done that.
It's also good
times.
for cuts, though, as well.
It's good for cuts. It's also good for indigestion. It is also good for constipation.
I drink aloe vera water as well.
Constipation, and also if you take the straight gel though, you want to use it far and few between though, because it could start messing you up real bad because of it's not meant to be ingested. I think more than 2 or 3 times a month. Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about things. I don't mean to cut you off. That's the crazy thing about things that's healthy. That with all things in life, your body should not be in digestion or intaking too much of one thing consistently. Mm-hmm. If you get what I'm saying, like a spread out of systems. You got to feed every system.
Right. And going back to your, it's funny because going back to your question about the process when we get to maturation, there's actually a lot of fruits and vegetables. Once we sow the seed and get the sun and water on a regular basis, during the maturity or the maturation process from seed to table, a lot of plants are poisonous, and they outgrow their poison.
Okay, that's what's
One of
up.
our most popular foods is poison. It can kill you. Do you know what it is?
What is it?
It's a potato.
I love potatoes.
They will kill you.
No lie.
They called me. They're like, we're looking for him. No, sorry.
No lie. I love potatoes. No lie.
Yeah, so
like for real.
anything in the nightshade family. So anything in the nightshade family that includes eggplants, peppers, sweet potatoes, all types of potatoes.
I deal with sweet potatoes too. Sweet potato, gold potatoes.
If you don't have a healthy, watched, because what happens is another thing that people do, which is a lot of mistakes with their growing, is that they don't create tight mounds over the base of their plants, as well as fill their pots all the way to the top. It's a mistake I see a lot of people make. They're like, why is my thing dying? Because sun gets in there. The sun is not supposed. It's supposed to help with photosynthesis, but it's not supposed to hit the roots. That's like me turning you inside out. You're gonna die. You know what I'm saying? So.
Also with photos, correct? That goes through the same process, right?
Yeah, of receiving the UV, right?
Right.
So with potatoes in particular, if you don't, they'll keep coming up and coming out, and they get a thick, hardy root, and also a leaf base. And if there's sun getting in there, it's going to create more of the poison. Have you ever seen a green potato? See, I used to eat county food, and every now and then we'd get a green French fry.
Yes, definitely know what you're talking about when we were using them lunch tickets back in the day.
The lunch, you used to hustle them, you got double.
Hell yeah. Let me get your lunch ticket, man. Let me get 50 cents. I'll trade you for a cookie.
Or that reduced lunch. Like I got you on that, because that kid was rich. The kid that got reduced lunch, they came from a good home.
Elementary, I used to be in there trying to get, let me get that lunch ticket. You dropped it, I might give it back. But more of the times I did give it back if I knew who dropped it.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Shout out to the kids that were hustlers in middle school and elementary, because I feel like in high school it was kind of like the thing to do, like, okay, whatever, we're getting ready for adulthood. But shout out to the kids that started doing that in middle school, because I was a hustler in middle school. I spent all my money on Taco Bell, but Big and Tasties. Do you remember Big and Tasties?
What year did you graduate? I ain't gonna ask you how old you are.
I'm 34. It's okay.
Okay, so you're a little older than me. I'm about to be 32.
Okay.
In about a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? On the 19th, if everybody want to tap in and buy some gear.
Okay,
you know what I mean? I'm not saying you. I'm just whomever. You feel what I'm saying?
Oprah.
Shit.
If you out there, few of my favorite things, you know?
When we was in middle school, it's probably like two different eras. When I was in middle school, I went to Curtis Middle School. Shout out to Carson. You feel what I'm saying? Curtis Middle School. We was more so dancing, clown dancing.
Okay, you guys were crumping at the time.
Nah, not crumping.
It's different?
Yeah,
it's
crumping
different?
And clown dancing is two different things.
Really?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
This is like,
it's two different things. So, you know what I mean? It's more consistent like walking and other little stuff. We were doing a wobble, you know what I mean?
Yes.
The Tommy the Clown was more popular.
I lived down the street from him. I didn't know it.
That's funny.
Shout out to Tommy. I had no idea. I lived down the street for years. 4 years. I already saw that movie that came out. What was it called? Rise? David LaChapelle made a movie out of it. Did you guys know about that?
Yeah.
Were you in the movie?
No, hell no. Hell no. The way you said it was well, maybe for the new viewers, the younger viewers, but shit, everybody around our age for sure was watching Rise.
That movie was a big deal.
You know what I mean?
That movie was a big deal.
And I wasn't hustling, but you could say I was gambling, because for some reason at Curtis Middle School playing Get Like Me. You ever heard of that game?
No.
You take quarters. If I flip it first, I say, get like me. I might cover it or just drop it on the ground. You know, whatever your style is. You got to flip your quarter, and if I get heads, you got to get heads. If you get tails, that's my money.
Oh.
You know what I mean? If you get heads, it's your money. And sometimes, there's times I get up there and work my way up.
Did you have a double-sided quarter?
Some people did, but that's kind of dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because if they find out you're cheating, you get beat up.
Fight. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but
just asking.
We was doing stuff like, if anything, I was doing stuff like that. And playing suicide. Not too much, but throwing the ball at the wall and then got to touch the wall.
We used to call it jungle ball.
They used to be, sometimes I didn't play too much, because sometimes some people used to get fucked up.
Yeah. Oh my God. I would never play. I knew I was a bad runner. I was the slowest runner. Like, I can catch a ball, but I was the slowest runner. And I'm like, they're like, we can't hit you because you're a girl. And I'm just like, but I signed up for this.
At Curtis, it wasn't no slowest runner, because it was just smart to be in the front.
Okay.
Because if you throw the ball and you don't hit it, you had some people that would smack the ball as you throwing it at the wall and keep you from hitting the wall. And he'd touch the wall real quick and come back while they used to trip people. You know what I mean? While you running to the wall, it'd be like 30 people going, trip them, boom, Okay, hold up real quick. We're getting off track into another conversation. Let's get back into, you know what I mean, promotion and everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody in here laughing and stuff.
No, it's funny. I love to walk down memory lane. If anything, that's where it kind of all started, you know. If anybody wants to follow me, I go by the Plant Plug LA on Instagram. I am also on YouTube under the same name, and I am on TikTok, and I have 2 YouTube channels, but that's for the finance stuff. That 'cause I teach general finance for free.
You get into business then.
You got to know a little something about what you're doing,
right.
you know. And then also where my process is right now. We were talking about this earlier too, about the process that we don't like, because what I feel like with the rise and grind culture, there has been for a long time, even like boss lady stuff or girl boss stuff. It's funny because they're exposing these women left and right. It's amazing. Just the glamorization of the end result, or the glamorization of the early begin, like the very beginning. It's like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I want to know. I'm interested in you in year 1 to 2, like your rookie year, and I'm interested in you when you get MVP.
MVP.
Oh my God.
VMP.
No, I said VM. No, because
Vamp Life?
No, I'm doing a thing with Village Marketplace on Saturday,
okay.
and that was a Freudian slip.
Okay.
It's Village Marketplace off of 66 in Vermont. If you want free plants and free trees, they're giving away free plants from me. They're giving away free fruit trees and also free gardening supplies. It's called Garden Gateway. That was a Freudian slip.
When is that? Because I definitely been.
It's actually
some
Saturday.
Plants and some free plants. I ain't gonna argue with no charge.
Right. It's Saturday. it's Saturday, I believe, from 10 to 2.
I might be at work.
Yeah, Saturday. I can send you the info. That's why I said VMP. VIP, right? So people want to know when you're at MVP or when you're rookie, right? I don't know anything about Allen Iverson between those years. I know about when he started, and I know about when he finished.
The glamorous part.
And I know about when he got his hair braided on courtside. That's the only thing I know, right? Because that's what's sensationalized. That's what's glamorized. But I'm in the process where I love overall what I do and I get to do it, but I don't like where I'm at like 70% of the time. I'm like really in the mud and in the trenches. And
as far as your environment?
It's partially environmental. It is also collaborative, and who I've come across that has not been fun at all. It's not even about rejection. It's about who you already plan to work with, and then they do you wrong. You know, I would rather get rejected. I would rather get shut down.
You're saying you've been getting short in the end of the stick when it comes to the plant business.
And not just plants, but just putting myself out there, because I feel like a lot of us are multifaceted, multi-talented. A discussion has been brought up that are we good at a lot of things, or did we get good at a lot of things in order to make ends meet? Those are 2 different things, right? So that's the thing, because I know you do more than this.
Most def.
Right. And
Most
it's just like...
You're not lying when you say we multifaceted. That's what ProHustle is about. You know what I mean? You master craft, monetize the skills is really mean professional hustle, which everybody got God-given abilities and talents that you could go ahead. You could work for somebody if you want to, you know what I mean, to each his own, but if you could go ahead and take your God-given abilities and market them yourself and be good at it, why not do that?
Why not?
You know what I mean? Because everybody got it.
Yes.
Even if that means working for somebody else and you playing a significant role, though, inside of their company. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people, and I ain't going to say a lot of people, a lot of us, I'm going to put myself in that category, because sometimes I done been at the lower level of certain jobs where we do all the hard process and work, and motherfucker over me, supervisor, manager, so and so is getting all the credit for all the good work I'm doing with these children.
Right.
Not reffing, but just other like teaching and other little
Right.
things like that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In which I think I'm smart enough to run and do my own program just as he
And you
is.
are. You definitely
feel what I'm
are.
saying?
Like a lot of what I was talking to a friend about this. A bulk of what I do, I learned from corporate America. Like, you know how good I am on the phone? Like, if you didn't see me, it'll be like, hi, this is Taylor Harrison.
I was just about to get to that, and there's no disrespect to you. If I heard you on the phone, I'm going to say, damn, I'm going to scratch my head like, she's saying nigga shit, but I don't know. Maybe she just like talking to niggas.
Oh,
Who
my
knows?
God.
Or hanging around niggas. I don't know.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
See, but that's how I get those interviews, and then I show up, they're like, ooh. I'm like, say something. Do it. Do it. Go ahead. Say it. Go ahead.
Discrimination?
Yes. You ever keep HR on speed dial? That's what they're for. And then you go over their head if they start acting up. I dare you, because my name.
I ain't had too many jobs. Let's say that.
Oh, I've had like 10, 12 different jobs. That's nothing to brag about.
Okay.
But I just get in trouble all the time. And I do.
You made to run your business if you get in trouble all the time, because that means you want to stand up for yourself in somewhere where you cannot do so.
Right, and for others.
Or you should not do so.
And like my first name, like most of the time when I get into spaces and places, people think I'm a white male, because my name is Taylor and my last name and in the way I talk. Like, I've been sued by the city as a white man. I am not making
That's
this
funny.
up. I went to court back in 2013 for unlawful assembly, and they called me up.
Protesting?
Yes, I used to protest back in the day, and I protest in different ways now. I guess if you still want to call it protesting, just trying to live your life, I guess, is protest now. And they played the footage.
You could say that. You could definitely say that.
Come on, like even with the illegal food stuff.
I want you to keep going on with this story, though, because
I know I got 8 different stories.
As a white man.
So I get to court, and I saw somebody that I got arrested with just crash and burn because they were representing themselves, and they have the saying, anybody that represents themselves has a client as a fool. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I ain't got nothing to lose. And
sometimes you don't.
Right?
No lie.
It's an interesting feeling that I think everybody should experience once, but don't act on that experience of that feeling.
Depending on what you're going in for.
Right.
Let's say that.
So, so they play the footage. They play that beautiful bean footage, and I was like, Your Honor, that's not me. It was a white guy with blonde dreadlocks.
Wow.
And I don't know what I was more upset about, the blonde dreadlocks or that y'all wasted my time.
It really wasn't you?
It was not me.
Oh, okay. How about I say, damn, you went in there like, fuck that oath?
No, because they had DVD footage. I mean, actually, it's
Okay.
funny when you get sued at a certain level, because I've gone to jail multiple times for like club fights and things like that.
Oh, you a real one.
And
you the plant plug for show straight out of South Central. So.
And this was the biggest thing, because the DA took on the whole squad, right, the whole group, and you don't know who's down until they start crying in jail. I'm like, why are you crying? We're gonna get let out.
Oh.
And
you ain't lying. When the
I was like,
get
yeah,
hard,
I don't bail me out because I don't want to pay bond. I do not like paying bond. Anyways, so
you want to beat the case and trial?
Every time. Okay, fortunately enough for me, every time I've gone to court, I've won.
You're a gangster.
And then I tell people what to do when they go, right?
You're a gangster for sure.
So then I'm at this court hearing, and it's the city of LA against Taylor. And I had a female lawyer, fortunately. I don't know why I thought that was advantage. Actually, sometimes I feel like they're meaner. And they played the footage because I didn't even get to she had her opening statement. And then I was just going to say that I did my time served. That was because I did no contest. No, I did guilty. I did not guilty. Sorry, that was traffic court. I did no contest. So they play the footage, and they had this big projector. The cop didn't show up that arrested me. His partner showed up, and he was ready to go. He's in that box ready to snitch. And they showed the zoning where the cops came out. They showed their whole plan, and they played the footage. And it was a circle of people, mostly males. And they showed that they did a zoom in, and it was a white guy with his skin was the color of this table. He was a little dirty, and
he was turning red.
And it was not me. And I was just like, Your Honor, as you can see, that is a white male, and that it's funny because they shut off the footage. Everybody went, ooh. Everybody in the courtroom went, oop. I'm like, wait, you got one job and you guys did not watch
the footage,
the evidence whatsoever. Like, even my mugshot. My mugshot's hilarious. It's
just
on
hoping
Instagram.
that you plead guilty.
Right. I might send Cam my mugshot. It's hilarious. It's actually October 1st will be the 10-year anniversary since
How
this
many
happened.
mugshots you got?
4.
Damn. You a gangster.
If you can find them, let me know. I've been looking for them for years. But I'm smiling in all of them.
Okay.
So I got let go on that case because it wasn't me, obviously. And when you get sued by like the city or like something they're just trying to make an example of you, they actually send you the evidence package they have against you.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got a DVD and I got a copy of my mugshot, and it said property of LA County Sheriff.
You're a real gangster.
So since those kind of things happen, I'm so used to being brought into rooms on the premise of they think I'm a white man. So I'm gonna get in these rooms.
Gotta get your face out there more.
I'm gonna let them make that mistake though. Who am I bringing with me when I get in those rooms?
Yourself, I guess.
And my people.
Okay.
But the thing about it is I found those spaces to be so uncomfortable that, Martin Luther King said he actually believed that integration was walking his people into a burning building, right? And I feel that way too in a business sense. Yes, can we not talk about Martin Luther King right now? Because it's going to be 30 minutes.
No. I like that you said that because I
But do you get what I'm saying?
Because
yes. I'll get in the rooms, and the thing about it is even if I'm in there by myself, I try not to be that person because I have privileges that I don't want. And that is privilege of name, privilege of somebody didn't like me for being light skinned. I don't even consider myself light skinned. I think I'm chocolate chip cookie. Like,
what you mean? Hold up, break down chocolate chip cookie.
I have
Are you talking about
freckles.
Okay, I can
it's
give
just
you
as
that.
simple. No, I'm black. You know what I'm saying? I don't
But
do the whole
chocolate
light
chip
skin,
cookie,
dark
I
skin
give you like
thing.
a butterscotch cookie with chocolate chips in it.
Do you like butterscotch? I grew up around people that all the old folks ate pecan praline, and I grew up to hate anything buttery like that.
Butterscotch not bad. It's kind of sweet though.
But what was up with that
I
having a
should go up
chokehold on our black parents and grandparents? Like, if you didn't have pecan praline, you didn't have a party. Who put that flavor in?
What exactly is pecan praline? Is that a Seeds candy?
That's an ice cream flavor.
Oh,
Who put that? Yes, we messed up chocolate and I love strawberry and vanilla. That's the only flavors I ate. The older generation, like, can I curse? Okay, they would fuck up some pecan praline, boy. the Thrifties, the Thrifties box of pecan praline, the ice cream that came in a box.
I do know what you're talking about. That came in a box. I was born in '89, so I can't.
You don't remember the 69-cent scoops from Thrifties?
Man, what I was on was
those cylinder scoops.
4 for $1, and then it came 2 for $1. Honey buns.
Honey buns are horrible now. Have you noticed they taste so bad?
I still be fucking them up though. Warm them up with some milk.
They taste so awful.
Hostess. Only the ones that look like what we used to buy, not the ones that come in a brown bag. The cinnamon honey buns. I like the Hostess, but when I was little, I used to get honey buns. I couldn't not go in a liquor store. It's funny, my auntie used to stay over there for Compton Boulevard, and I used to go to that one over there, like near the park off of Atlantic, and like.
Oh, okay.
She used to stay over there, and I used to be like, "Let's go to the store right here. I need to get me some honey buns and a juice, no lie." And Kool-Aid was big.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So get into these herbs, because I kind of got into the herbs. I don't think a lot of, especially like our people and just people in general, don't understand how beneficial rosemary or basil or thyme, any of these things are beneficial even to your health, as well as making your dish taste
a
little marvelous.
See, this is the thing about herbs are actually very easy to propagate. If you can get a stem of an herb, something that's already grown out, super easy to propagate, since we talked about propagation. Actually, the thing about herbs, there's an herb for everything. And when I worked at the supplement shops, I was in the supplement industry. I was in the supplement business for about 5-6 years, and once again got in trouble all the time for talking too much. But also, rather than focus on the synthetics, we could talk about synthetics, we could talk about steroids. I know all about that. But when it comes about to the herbs and the roots, that did not sell. Like, they had it by default on the shelves. It was very interesting. Like, a lot of vitamin shops have it by default, and it's usually just their brand. But when it comes to the bigger brands of supplements, it's minuscule use, and it's also not isolated. It's always a blend, right?
So you think they're pushing more pills rather than natural?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. So the thing about herbs is that A through Z, there's an herb for everything. Like, one that's actually really good for the heart is called hawthorn.
I never had that before. I even tasted that.
So you can get it in capsule, you can get it in powdered form. And actually, the thing about herbs too, just like with anything, is that it depends on how you break it down and how you utilize it. So rosemary,
I use rosemary. Right.
Rosemary powder, like powdered rosemary, is different than topically using rosemary, than different than like simmering it or making like a rosemary oil or a butter.
Okay.
So it's about the methodology and the way that you use it. Like, a rosemary tincture is different. Tinctures are crazy.
I'm not too sure what that is.
So it's pretty much.
And I didn't know all that you just said about the rosemary, that based on how you use it, or you formulate it.
You can manipulate anything you want, as far as you find out a method in which, and you get that desired result. So say, like, okay, we have the rosemary plant. If you want to propagate rosemary, you can. You could just snip a really branchy part of it, take off the bottom ends, and then put it in water in the sun until it gets roots. So that now we grew rosemary and we propagated rosemary. Now I want the whole stem of rosemary, right? So what I can do is I can either, for cooking, I can leave it directly in butter and then just let the oils take care of it itself in the cold butter, and it will have some flavor. If I want a deeper flavored, I would lightly simmer the rosemary in the oil and then let the oil recoagulate in the refrigerator, right? or the butter.
You hitting them with scientific terms.
And then if I want to, I can use the rosemary and like in a hair oil, and also.
Never thought about that.
That actually is supposed to help with stimulating hair growth. And also what a lot of people don't do is that they don't exfoliate their scalps, because there's a lot of buildup. Just like there's pores on our face, there's follicle.
I've been getting skin exfoliation and body exfoliation.
So you can actually exfoliate your scalp as well. So rosemary oil is actually supposed to help with hair growth. But in the beauty industry, somebody already found out about it and
took advantage of it
and
and monetized
it. Oh my God,
it.
so fast. And not even monetization, the markup is crazy when you could just make it yourself. But the thing about it is when you're making a rosemary oil, usually apothecary workers, you can't leave the rosemary in the oil because it'll rot.
He took off his hat because he got a bald head, and he been really wanting to think about growing his hair back.
Right.
And so he thinking about chopping up some rosemary.
We can do some cinnamon exfoliation. Now, I can't promise anything because I'm not a medical professional. But you
Science
can
is all trial and error.
It is. But usually grafting is the fastest way. It worked. Look at, okay, there's a very short man from Canada that shot a woman in both of her feet. We're not going to say his name. You probably know who I'm talking about. And look at how his hairline came back. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? Yes, thank you. Okay.
Damn.
Yeah. Did you get my riddles?
Yeah, but you think he shot her?
Yes.
That's a tricky story.
It's really bad, but we're going to get back to rosemary. Okay, so lastly, with the rosemary as well, thank you. With the rosemary as well, you can make the rosemary oil. Now, another thing is that a lot of people that actually was taken away from our culture is our spiritual practices, hoodoo and voodoo in particular. My family's from Louisiana. Okay. So it's not practicing now.
You research voodoo?
I learned more about voodoo and hoodoo, and actually I have a little Gucci Man voodoo doll that I made years ago. He goes everywhere with me.
I got into a little research about some of those things.
Gucci Man. Even it's not evil. The Catholic Church made it evil.
I definitely know what you mean by, because there's a lot of practices and even spirituality that there's some things that some people say that's demon stuff, but then when you actually like get down and read it, and it might spook you out at first, but when you really get to understand what it, you say, bro, hey, they lying like a motherfucker. This is some shit right here that they don't want everybody to know. So
they demonized it.
You know what I mean? Teaching like power inside of healing.
Imagine. So in hoodoo, I don't do spells. I don't do rituals. I just need to clarify that. And I'm not a Wiccan. I'm not a witch or anything like that. Those are very powerful tools.
You're a Christian?
I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
I was raised Catholic. Okay. I stopped practicing.
Different form of Christianity.
When I stopped practicing in 2004. So and I was into it. Oh my God, I was so into Catholicism. I was like, yeah, that's another story. But in hoodoo, it's believed that if you put rosemary in your pillow or atop your head, it will help with memory.
It's funny that you said that, because what I was going to say, Nipsey has a song, Down as a Great, where he say, what'd he say? Rosemary in my temples, hurt they good with migraines and ABCD, and that's quite interesting because they do help it a lot. Like I even take like, pause, a lot of the guys might say, you take baths? But there's times I do take baths with essential oils, peppermint or, lavender, other little things like that does help with the body and recovery and things like that.
Yeah, and
you got to take care of your body.
There's a lot of recovery fruits and vegetables out there. There's a lot of recovery herbs. Ginseng can help with vitality. We can go on and on and on about it.
Ginseng help with the guys too.
Well, the thing about it, I've been telling the guys. Okay, it's funny because when I used to work at these vitamin shops, I'd get a lot of guys, and they would always be like, a lot of them were really nice. I'll tell you that, and they would tell me what they were taking when they were really big, and I appreciate that. To me, that's like a code of honor kind of thing. Like, I'm not gonna tell anybody, but they were kind of ashamed that they were taking it. But I'm just like, bro, just protect your liver, whatever. And then they'll be like, we don't talk about male eating disorders a lot in this society. We don't, but it's prevalent. It's really bad. But aside from that, I would get men coming in and they'd be like, hey, can I talk to somebody that knows what they're talking about? And all my male coworkers would be like, she's the one that knows the most. And it's embarrassing. He'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
No, that's good.
I'm so sorry. First of all, we both produce hormones that are estrogen. We both produce testosterone. So I think I should know something about testosterone. Jeez. But I always tell men the same thing. I used to get some partiers that would come in, and there was this guy in particular would be like, hey, you. I'd be like, hey, you. You know how they talk like that? Okay, certain people on coke talk like they already know you. Hey, you. So, and he told me that he was having problems in the bedroom after a night of partying.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, hey. And then He's like, what do you have for me? And then I told him what I had for him, and he kept coming back week after week after week.
You're the feel-good doctor.
So the thing about it is, this is the thing. For male performance specifically, if you're privy to getting cold sores, do not take this. But if you don't, and I also say I'm a medical, I'm not a professional. Everybody has it. I mean, 1 out of 4 have the virus.
Some of them.
I'm not saying let's normalize it, but let's normalize the awareness that a lot of people have it. So arginine. Arginine is a vasodilator, meaning that it helps with blood flow, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's one. Citrulline, which is found naturally in watermelon, also helps with blood flow. So if you can't take arginine, you take citrulline. Arginine produces citrulline, but people can't have arginine directly because of the cold sore issue, okay?
Okay.
Another thing you could take,
maca root. I was about to ask you about that.
In small doses.
I was about to ask you about that.
Because too much of it does affect the hormones. It helps with muscle development, okay? We're not talking about creatine, that's different. We're talking about muscle development, and it also helps with libido. Now, those little fast pills you find in the gas station, they actually have these, but how they sell those pills is a one-night thing. If you take it consistently and have a regular regimen, maybe like 1 or 2 times a month, you don't need to take those pills. First of all, you're already in a liquor store. You should not be buying pills in a liquor store. But second of all, they always have like rhinos or goats on them, or it's so funny. So another thing you could take, actually,
from the homie, I ain't never took one of those. I'm dead ass. The homie talking about
maca root
it's
is
a little
fine.
blue pill. But I would be more into like a natural, like you're saying, because I done research. Like I told you, I've been doing research for a long time.
Please.
And I've never did it. I never tried it. But I heard, I researched into a lot of things. YouTube University. You feel what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You got to research what's good, what's support, and what pros and the cons.
Right.
You feel what I mean? You decipher for what you want to do.
Right.
But I had a guy talk about the maca root, and he was just saying, like, he said, fellas, be careful when you're in that maca root.
Women too.
Your ladies, he said,
women
boy,
too.
He said, you go be in there hurting her. You go be in there wanting to just, you know what I mean? Because he's saying, like, I know what he's saying, because there's certain.
It makes you plow through the wall like a Kool-Aid man. That's all I'm telling you. Men and women, they, thems, the non-binaries too. If you got it, it's going to be pumping. That's all I'm trying to tell you.
She got real. I'm going to have her back. No lie.
Okay. So then we have maca root, and then also the last one, I'm going to save the best for last, horny goat weed.
I heard about that too, but I was scared. I never really did no research into it because the way the homie keeps saying horny girl, when it's like, hey, get your ass up out of here talking about that. But
right.
I never really looked into it. You feel what I'm saying? That's funny that you mentioned.
If you want the big boom
it.
boom drink, blend a beet, blend some watermelon, take 2 tabs of maca root powder, not tablets but capsules, and then take a little bit of horny goat weed, kablow. Like if you want it, just go get it.
Hey, my boy Jack is in it. He's Moorish. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I definitely, you know what I mean? Me and him converse upon knowledge and stuff like that. You feel me? He gets into planting, growing, everything that you're talking about. I think he in here going crazy because he definitely talk about that horny goat weed, that maca, all of that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But you want quality brands though. So I'm not going to lie. Actually, the best company that I've seen with the best extracts, because it's all about percentages too and purity, has been Whole Foods. Even though I don't work with them anymore, I will never work for them again. Has been Whole Foods. You can get a month's supply of maca root for about, I think about like $8.99 of just pure maca, because you want capsules, and if you can, get them in a vegetable capsule so that way it dissolves, hits the stomach lining, because you can technically, FDA does not regulate supplements, so technically I could put the name, I could put elderberry on this bottle of water, but it's all water and it's a drop of elderberry. Am I lying? No.
I got what you're saying.
But I can sell elderberry water.
Just water down.
Same thing with sea moss. I can sell sea moss water. How much sea moss is in there, and also has the purity, and also a lot of plants immediately start losing their nutrients within 15 minutes of when they're picked. That's why I want people to grow their own stuff too. Like the peppers I'm about to give, they're way hotter than grocery store peppers, but they're just cayenne and jalapenos.
I can't really do too much up on the spicy.
Right. I have these.
But it's a difference between spicy hot links or meat and using spice. You know what I mean? Pause. Yeah, talking about some hot links in the meat. What is that? This?
Oh.
So, where we at? Most Def. I definitely want to have you back.
Oh, thank you.
I definitely want to have back. You know what I mean? We're going to have to, you know what I mean, close it out right now because there's a conversation going a little longer than expected.
As always.
I definitely want to have you back because it's stuff that the fellas and just people just in general need to know about their bodies to be more natural, because I agree with you upon rather than getting like certain supplements from GMC, A, B, C, D, you can go ahead and just buy fruit, veggies, A, B, C, D, cook it.
Fry
however you
it,
want to digest
dehydrate
it. You know what I mean?
Make tinctures, make oils.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So let the people know where they can find you at again.
Once again, my name is The Plant Plug LA on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I'm also on YouTube under The Plant Plug Los Angeles. My name is Taylor Lindsey. You can always slide in my DMs if you have any general questions about anything that I mentioned today. No personal questions, please. But if you need any plants, I got you. If you need any seeds, I got you. If you need any guidance, I also got you. It is my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me today. I feel like we opened up. I usually do that with stories, like open up 12 different tabs and never finish them. But we did open.
No, it's cool because we had a good conversation.
Yeah, we unpacked a lot.
If they want to know more, they go tap in. I definitely want to have you back because there's more that you know that I feel like more people should know. You seem very knowledgeable.
I appreciate it.
You feel what I'm saying? You could explain it. You could break it down. I know some people might not understand all the terminology that you're giving off of.
Right.
That you're saying. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, you know what I mean?
Oscillate. That's the word. Oscillate.
It's good to tap in with. You know what I mean? Everybody, has been a good show. I want y'all to tap in to ProHustle Zone at 5:30. You know what I mean? We got another show coming, you know what I mean, right after this at 5:30. Tap in. It's going to be on the ProHustle Zone Instagram. Shout out to Innovative Culture. Shout out to the Plant Plug. I definitely want you back for sure.
Okay.
Sometime soon because, you know what I mean, I like this. I like this info. You feel what I'm saying? Very helpful. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's doing something, that's pro-hustling, and we out.
Innovative.